The Boston Bruins lose 3-2 in overtime to the St. Louis Blues. We did have some bright spots about the game, and I want to talk about them. We had some major changes before the game, and I'll dive into that as well. I don't want to keep you long, so this won't be a long video. So, as always, I'll cover the highs and lows from the Bruins game in my recap. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. The Boston Bruins are now 8-8-3 on the season and have a winning percentage of .500. That puts them fourth in the Atlantic because they got the loser point against St. Louis. Before the game, Montgomery talked to the media because he made some major lineup changes.
Merkaloff and Tufte were called up. They're both going in the lineup. Decor is going to be the same. Goalie, undecided yet.
Who's coming out?
Beecher came out up front, and Brown is... Brown's not playing either.
Merkaloff at center? You would.
Mountain's playing left wing.
What are you hoping to see from him?
Try, someone that has produced a lot in the American League. Hopefully he can, help us 5-on-5 and on the power play.
Tyler Johnson's still not here.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson had to leave Dallas for family reasons. We're going to leave it at that, but he will be back at practice tomorrow.
What are the coaching points to get the team play a little more consistent brand of hockey?
Just, playing the right way. Our puck pressure without the puck, we lost it last game, and that made us defend and give up a lot of bad looks. That had been something that had turned the right way. In St. Louis, we held on to pucks a lot in the O-zone. We did not do that. We turned over too many pucks. So those are the two areas. Our puck pressure defensively and not turning pucks over offensively can aid us in being more consistent.
Has it mostly been in the O-zone, or have you seen that in the D-zone in terms of puck pursuit and not getting to the wall, winning battles, etc.?
No, it's been in both areas, yeah. Last game, it was in all three zones.
We didn't see a lot of Tufte when Donnie made the acquisitions in the summer. He was talking about having him plug into a really sort of a ferocious forechecking game. Is that still the role you see him?
Yeah, and he's someone who possesses pucks well. He scored 27 goals in the American League last year in Colorado, and it's something I think that with his size and strength, besides being able to be heavy on the forecheck, get to the net front, being able to put people on his back and get inside the dots for scoring chances.
And your goalie decision today based on an injury, or are you just coming up with the right guy? Is it?
It's just kind of a goalie rotation. We figured, just with the number of games we have, travel and all that. That's why.
What adaptations have you had to make in terms of your coaching style from year to year? Have you made changes? Do you see yourself as kind of being the same guy in how you approach the room, or have there been differences?
No, I think you have to be consistent. You have to be yourself. As far as the way we play, year one, we could possess or we could forecheck. Last year, we went to more of a forechecking group, and we think that that's what this group is as well, just the way we're constructed.
He sounded like a coach who's running out of answers and truly is just as confused as us fans as to why this team is struggling so much. But he did interject some new people into the lineup like Merkaloff and Tufte, so he's hoping for the best, and so were we. Going into the game, the Bruins' 5-on-5 play had been a bright spot for them, but it was their special teams that had been bringing them down. They're coming off an embarrassing loss to the Dallas Stars, so I was expecting some pep in their step, and it seemed they had it in the first period. The Bruins came out to play and were the best team in the first. They had an effective forecheck, and to be honest, the new players in the lineup of Tufte and Merkaloff looked good out there. Merkaloff playing on the wing, which in the past he's been ineffective, looked comfortable on the ice and looked to add some skill to that third line. They desperately needed it. Korpisalo had to come out and make some huge saves repeatedly and bail his team out during that game. Even though it was St. Louis that scored first, it didn't seem to get them down, and I did see some push. Merkaloff makes a great behind-the-back pass, which pops out to Frederic, who is going to the net like he should, and we have a tie hockey game. The Bruins have life, even though the ice started to tilt the other way for St. Louis, who was missing 4 out of their 6 defensemen, and we're starting to push back. The third line looked good, though, and was playing with pace, and as Brick loves to say, was passing and shooting with purpose. Frederic goes to the net, sits his butt in front of the goalie, and tips home a shot from the point, and the Bruins have the lead. Frederic, for some reason, hasn't been going to the net until today, but I noticed Merkaloff did a great job of creating chances and moving a puck around for the line. Coyle was allowed to be the guy digging out for those loose pucks, and Frederic was being that net front presence. I wanted to mention positives because I did feel the line played well, and they got rewarded with ice time, even after Kostelek went down with a lower body injury and did not return to the game. I don't know what the play he got hurt on, but the team announced during the game he was hurt, and after the game, Montgomery mentioned he was day-to-day. Merkulov only got 13 minutes and 11 seconds, but that is to be expected as the game got really tight, and he's not as responsible on his own end. Tufte, on the other hand, after the first period, the wheels fell off, and he started making a ton of mistakes, and by the end of the game, he only got 7 minutes and 46 seconds. Doughty gets another chance. As Montgomery mentioned, Johnson will be back next game after being away for family reasons. The second period was brutal, and the legs the Bruins had in the first disappeared, and they looked like they were in quicksand again. Pasternak, on the other hand, looked like he was trying everything all game to generate something, and he got 21 minutes and 12 seconds of ice time and wasn't a minus player all game. I did feel the one power play, which was dreadful, again, he had a clear lane, and he elected to pass again. But he's leading the team in the league in shots this season. He also leads the Bruins in every offensive category on the team. Pasternak is not the problem and looks to have his legs back, but I wish others would follow. Half the time it looked like he was entering the zone and everybody was just behind him. And then he only did it twice. He coughed up the puck because he's got no one to send the puck to. The second period showed Boston's inability to contain the St. Louis forecheck, and once again, they weren't first on loose pucks. They started sitting back again and watching the play instead of being aggressive. It looked like St. Louis was on the power play most of the time, and it was only 5-on-5. The third period starts, and the Bruins can't contain the Blues at all, and they're making zone entry uncontested, and you get the feeling they're about to give one up. If you look at St. Louis' second goal, they had possession of the puck the whole time in the Bruins zone, and the Bruins look like they're watching as the puck is just blindly put out into the slot, and they rip one past Korpisalo. Korpisalo looked as if he didn't anticipate the puck to be there, but it's also a shot from the slot, so I can't fault him on this one. We have a tie game, and it doesn't look good for the Bruins at all, and they're getting outplayed all over the ice. We head to overtime, and the Blues are all over them, and 2 minutes and 53 seconds in, Schenn comes up the ice and puts it was a weak wrist shot on Korpisalo, and it beats him, and it's a game over. Korpisalo had played better than most players on the team all night, but he needs to have this one. I'm not blaming him because the Bruins didn't even register a shot on net the whole overtime. The Blues outplayed the Bruins almost all game, and it showed in the game stats as well. The Blues deserved that win. The final shots in the game were 31-17 in favor of the Blues, and the Blues out-hit the Bruins 27-18. The Bruins penalty kill, though, was much better, and the third line looked great. Korpisalo kept them in the game and saved them from a blowout in the first. I'm afraid, though, if they played a team like Dallas again, it would have been a bloodbath, and we would have saw the exact same score from the previous game. I want people to temper their expectations. I saw a lot of people of Korpisalo is now the new number one. Korpisalo, one, has played lesser opponents, and two, the defense just wasn't that good. And like I said, if they played Dallas, you would have saw the same score. I will say I was happy to see McAvoy and Zadorov split up, and I hope they don't play together again, as McAvoy looked a lot better out there away from him. Frederic gets 2 goals and his 100th career NHL point, which is great to see. I felt McAvoy and Lowry were the best Bruins defensemen on the ice out there, and I'm hoping that's something we see more of in the future. And at some points, they were playing together, and they looked great, just like they did in the playoffs. I want to take some positives away from the game because Montgomery spoke to the media right after the game, and it put me right back into a funk.
I don't know. We didn't have a lot of juice in the tank. I don't know why we didn't. Yesterday we flew home. We stayed over in Dallas so that we would have proper sleep to enable us to have legs for today. We had legs in the first and kind of fell off after that.
What's the concern that doubt is creeping into this team right now?
Well, I think that's a concern all the time when you're a 500 team. It doesn't matter what sport, but our consistency and our puck pressure and our puck management has been something that has been not very apparent consistently for us.
What did you see from Merkulov?
I thought he did some really good things offensively. I thought his puck support was good. It's my first remarks. It's lower body. It's day to day.
How do you improve that puck pressure? It's been going on for a while now, I should say. I mean, what are the tactics that you have?
It's just about people making reads and pressure and skating. It comes down to skating and working. Guys are thinking too much offensively and they're not transitioning to defensive pressure right away. I think he was in the right spots. That's where Freddie needs to be, is in the net front. He's in that third circle that we talk about a lot about. You got to get to the third circle, which is between the two circles. It's a smaller circle, and that's where goals are scored.
Regardless of result, it feels like Jonas has given you quality start for quality start. What have you liked about him these last few appearances?
Yeah, just the way he battles in there for us. His second and third effort is really good, and he's making some really good high-level grade A stops for us.
Jim, playing to your form standard, be it offense or defense, do you feel good about either? Do you feel close on offense or defense in terms of your shape?
I felt we were getting there defensively up until from the Carolina game to the Dallas game. I thought we were getting there with consistency. We lost it in Dallas, and it was not there today. Offensively, we haven't been there all year.
More disappointing offensively when it's at home and you're not getting shots, you're not getting consistency?
Both are disappointing. You want to be good on both sides of the puck. The defensively being good gives you an opportunity to win every night. Because we should be able to close that game out and win 2-1 today.
Is it harder to game plan, hard to make moves when you don't know how much juice your guys are going to have, that given that it's been...
You can't plan for lack of juice. We get to play in the greatest league in the world, and the excitement should come within each individual to be able to go out there and play in front of our great fans.
Montgomery openly admits that he has no answers for what is going on right now, and which is concerning. I feel like he's making a cry for help because the roster he has just isn't good enough, and they're so slow. The Bruins are at the bottom of the NHL in almost every offensive statistic category. I know I see some people in the comments saying, well, they'll figure it out, or it's not that bad. But unfortunately, you know what? It is. The only teams below them, statistically right now, for offensive categories are Detroit, Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose, and Nashville. And that's it. They're at the bottom of the league for shots per game as well. They're not generating any offense, and their special teams are still dreadful. Their PK has gotten better, but it's only one game. I don't know what the answer is at this point, but I do think some changes are coming. But they do have a schedule coming up that they should be able to string together some wins as they play Columbus, Detroit, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Montreal, but sprinkle in one game against Utah and Vancouver in there. You would hope they can win more than they lose over the next little bit. Will the coach be fired? I think it's closer to a yes right now than a no. Will they make a trade? Well, I'm going to explore that in another video because with Hampus Lindholm being out for an extended period of time, they could put him in LTIR and have a ton of cap space. Hey, I also want to remind people, we have a Discord, so if you want to jump in there and have some conversations about hockey, we're there. And as always, I'm going to answer every single person's comments here in the YouTube, so drop your questions down below. As always, though, I always want to hear from you, and so drop your thoughts down below on the 3-2 loss to Blues. That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.